Alright. Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 393. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Laura. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
That was amazing!
That's like the third time that's happened since we started.
In 393 episodes.
Yeah, like one every 100. I just throw one in there. I was thinking too hard about what the date was. So I was
like, what, the 25th?
It's the 24th of May.
I had to write like 100 receipts today. I should know that.
You really should.
But
you had to put the date on all of those.
I did. L-I-B fine. L-I-B fine. L-I-B fine.
I guess a stamp wouldn't even help you because it's multiple.
It's carbon.
Yeah.
Because I have a name stamp, but I can't use it on those. I can use it on other things.
So luckily your signature is like L squiggle, L squiggle.
Yeah. Why are you giving away all my rules? All my rules. Now people will try to impersonate me with
Heaven
my
forbid.
Amazing signature.
Yeah, so this is a knitting show usually.
97% of the time.
We do occasionally go on weird rants.
Tangents more than rants.
Yeah, we try to be as inoffensive as possible.
Hey, we have a guest star here.
Oh, yeah.
Buff, come here. Buffy's here.
It's been storming the past couple days. And when it storms, my 50-pound pit bull cannot be left alone.
Hi, baby.
In fact, I have photographic evidence that yesterday or the day before, I wasn't even allowed to shower alone. Because it could be dangerous.
It could. You never know when lightning's going to strike. Hi, baby.
Yeah. Okay, get down.
I'm getting all the kisses today.
I had a pit bull butt in my project bag.
That's a cute project bag. Is that the Matterroot one?
It is.
Cute.
But yeah, she's in here. Laura's the only person outside of the people that live here that she likes. Probably because she sees Laura more than anybody else.
That's probably true. I just thought it was winning personality, but...
Yeah, it could be that. You never know. So, knitting. Would you like to go for works in progress?
I only have 2 things that I'm knitting on. I've been, like, fairly monogamous lately, I feel like. So, I am knitting on my fiber seed cowl. This is the depth cowl. And today at work, in between helping parents with concerns over library funds and missing books, and I shelved some books too, I didn't just do nothing but knit, but I did listen to the Knit More Girls, and I knit a little bit, so I joined my second skein of yarn. So this is the depth cowl, and I'm intentionally pulling on it, so it should pretty much sit. It's meandering a little bit.
Yeah, but that's expected.
But not, it's staying pretty much true. I'm working on it. So I joined a new skein of yarn right there, and I've knit this much today. So that makes me super happy. Yeah, I mean, it started, you can see on this one, it started like here. And now, so when I started, these stitch markers were like halfway through the blue, and now they're on the tail end of the blue. I don't think it's terrible.
It's not at all. It's way better than mine's gonna look, because intentional, like, gauge is a hard thing.
I also like I do care for like the little swirl that I'm getting, like that subtle swirl. I'm okay with it.
I like it.
So I really like our colorway a lot. It reminds me of board games with oceans.
Like Catan?
Yeah, or the beach. I have a little octopus stitch marker from Truffle Shuffle on it, because that goes perfect. You see my little octopus? He's so cute.
Aww, it's going to get a Buffy inspection.
I know, Buffy's inspecting too. So, I'm just knitting around and around and around on some Addies. I think they're size 5 maybe? Did I even put that up there? Yeah, I think I'm knitting them on size 5. This is the DK weight. They also are selling a worsted weight and a
sock weight.
A sock weight. And you can get the cowl out of 1 skein of sock weight or 2 skeins of the DK or worsted. So yeah. I'm excited. The only change that I made to this is I did a provisional cast on, and I did a crochet provisional cast on rather than a Judy's provisional cast on, because I was worried about messing up the pooling from the start, because the way she has you cast on is a cable cast on, I believe, and not a long tail. So I wanted to make sure, and Judy's kind of replicates a long tail a little bit. So I didn't want to do that. So I actually did a crochet cast on with some bamboo pop yarn that I had sitting in the
less
stash.
of the yarn too than Judy's does. Well, I guess either way, you'd use that either way.
Yeah, but this way you can line it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's what's the main thing that I've been working on. The other thing that I've been working on I have a sweater to show you guys that I did not knit in a little bit. We'll do that in finished objects. So this is very little progress. I got the heel increases done for my sock, for my lollipop sock. So I got like 1 repeat knit, and now I need to turn the heel. So it's been increased out to 56 stitches on the one side, and it's still 28 on the other. And I'm not doing a good job of increasing evenly because I was on a field trip.
Yeah, distracted.
Yeah, there's been some distractions, so I just need to make sure that I'm replicating those distractions on the second one, which is never really an issue, replicating distractions in my life. So this is ready for the heel turn, and then I'll be able to just knit it on up. It's living in a fat squirrel bag. The depth cowl is just living on my couch, except I took it to work, so it just hung out in my purse. I haven't put it in a big bag yet. Because I was feeling especially lazy this morning as I was running late for work. Because for some reason, on days that we can go in 10 minutes later, like that just throws off my... So I got to go to work at 7 a.m. today instead of 6:50.
Wow.
So...
That's pretty amazing.
I know, but then it just threw... Because the traffic was different.
Yeah.
And, like, the Starbucks line was different. So
you
it
only
just
have
threw off
one
my
more day
groove.
of actual...
Yeah, I'm
duty.
going in next week for 3 days. But,
It's like an at-your-own pace.
yeah, well, I'm choosing to do it. I'm not getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thing, just because it's easier for me to take up fines and receipt than the secretaries whose job that really isn't. So I'm hoping that most of our people come and get report cards tomorrow and the next...
I thought they mailed those out.
No, especially not if you have fines.
Oh.
So we did mail them out years ago, but to mail out 1,100 report cards at, what is it, the stamp up to like 40 cents now?
I think it's 50.
I mean, it's over $500, so they saved the money.
I feel like I got mailed Kobe's last year. But I could be
Kobe's
wrong.
in a different school than my school.
He actually only had to take 1 exam. I was completely shocked. I went and looked, also another benefit. Kobe is my 15-year-old son. And we live in the same county as Laura, but a different school district, like a different school system.
It's under one. It's the same school system.
It's just a different
county
neighborhood.
system,
Yeah.
but it's a different area.
But
she lives in the middle of the county. It's a county system, and I work on the west side of the county, and live on the west side of the county.
But I was able to pull up his grades online. I love that, by the way.
Yeah, we can do that
so
too.
Much.
My kids can pull up their fines online too. Do they to show their parents? No.
I looked it up, and he had like... My son is very apathetic right now. And I guess probably a lot of teens go through that. But he's very not interested in putting effort into anything. Only as much as he has to.
Except for video games.
Yeah. And he has... in English, an average of 102. And I'm like, how did that happen? Like...
Did they read a book that he really liked?
I don't know. You know, I tried to talk to him about it, and he was just like, I just did the work. Okay.
That's awesome. I wish you would have been doing the work the last 10 years.
But then, like, music theory, he had to take his exam in, because he didn't do the work or something. But he loves that class, so, I don't know. Teenagers make me crazy.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So works in progress for me.
Yeah, I want to know what you're working on.
So one item which is just waiting until tomorrow when Stash Dash begins.
Yeah, Stash Dash starts tomorrow.
Is my fade. Find your fade. I am primed for the very last row to knit. If you're wondering what Stash Dash is, it's an annual summer knitting thing where you just try to get as much done as possible. You set your own goals. Excuse me. We have a video that we recorded a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we
explains everything.
Yeah, we hosted our group.
So my fade is 7 colors, and it starts here with this sort of tealy speckle. And
that's Fiber Nymph,
yeah,
right?
it's Fiber Nymph, Sunny Skies.
Something Friends.
Something, yeah. Then Ice Skating Party by Oh, English
Amy
lady.
Florence.
Stranded, yes.
Stranded Dye Works. English lady. That's how I'm going to refer to her from now on. English lady.
She is Lady Amy Florence.
There you go.
And then
her name lends itself well to that.
It does.
Are you gonna buy her a circlet for SSK?
I feel like she could make a very entertaining mockery of this. The green or the gray is Thunder Snow by Tempting You. The reddish gray, or I guess pinkish gray,
DZ.
is DZ by Knitter's Nightmare. This purpley speckle is A Skein Has No Name by Woolenboon, which is a Nashville dyer.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some of their stuff in the House of Yarn booth.
This lighter one...
No, they're not Nashville. It's the rocking chair one that's Nashville.
Oh, old rusty chair?
Yeah, that's Nashville.
I'm sorry. Woolenboon, we got it, House.
We got it House,
so maybe
but
that's
they're
why
not
I thought
located in Nashville, I don't think.
I forget what this one is.
It's, Hey Lady Hey?
Yeah. Hey Lady Hey and the Betty. And then this last color is Underground by...
On the Round?
On the Round or Spun Right Round, one of the two.
I think it's On the Round, is what you said before.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't have the tag. Okay, every other tag, but not that one. So, this is the very last row. You can see that line that divides it going all the way up, and it's just got this last little bit. I've got one more row in the bind off to go.
Yay! I'm hoping your on-call is gentle tomorrow and you'll have time to do it.
Yeah. I am, yeah. I guess I should mention that I am on call, so if the dreaded phone goes off, we'll pause this and pick it back up when I'm done. So that is living in my SSK 2016 Fat Squirrel Bag, and it barely fits. I got a small one. This isn't like the big sweater bag. This is
that's the
small wedge, maybe. It's not the smallest one she makes, but it's the next one up.
Yeah, I think that's small wedge. Or large wedge, maybe. I don't know.
It's not the sweater one. I know that.
There you go.
So the next thing that I'm working on, the only other thing that I'm working on at the moment, is Goldfish Memory. Laura and I have talked about this one.
Yeah.
She's going to cast it on soon. This is by Casapinka.
I'm trying to get this done first.
Yeah. She is sticking with goals like a smart person. So, the story behind the design on this shawl is that, you know, there's this urban legend that a goldfish memory is like
3 seconds.
3 seconds
They
long.
get to the other end of the bowl and
Yeah.
it's a whole new world.
So this is made up of 12 different sections, and each section has its own pattern. Some are like alternating colors of garter, some are alternating colors of garter with an alternate color of stockinette, some are lace panels. It's all sorts of different stuff. So the three...
Are you enjoying it?
I am.
Good.
Like, it's just when I'm getting sick of the pattern I'm doing, it changes. So
Perfect.
I'm enjoying it. And I'm using chicken boots bag.
I love that chicken boots bag.
I'm excited. It's the first one I've ever gotten. So I'm using 3 different colors. This one is Big Alice Dies in With the Fishes. Something with the Fishes. Sleeps with the Fishes. This one
reference
is Brains Obsessive Stitchery in that copper. I forget, I don't have the tag in front of me, so I'm not sure what the colorway name is.
You've used a lot of that.
But it's a really pretty copper.
So you're not carrying these up the side?
When it makes sense, I am.
Okay.
But I just finished a section where I have to join a different color that I haven't used in a little bit. And then this is Emma's...
Crazy Beautiful Yarn?
Yeah. And I forget the colorway, but it's this pretty white sparkle with speckle.
Yeah, and that was sent to us to review.
Yeah, from...
a listener in Florida.
Yeah. So... this pattern has 12 sections, and I'm starting the 6th section now. So I'm close to halfway, not quite there. I started this this weekend, I think. Right after the
Yeah, you were working on it in my house.
yeah.
Wow, you have gotten far. Do you need me to hold that end?
Yeah, thank you. So it starts with alternating sets of garter. I messed up a row at the bottom. Totally not going to show you where. Then
it's a mystery.
Then it changes the number of rows. Then it does this cool like slip stitch.
I think that's my favorite detail in the shawl.
Yeah, this cool slip stitch section, which looks like it's puckered. When I lay it flat, it's actually not. And then this section, which is like 6 rows of garter separated by alternate color slip stitches. It looks really cool in person. And then this is the 5th section, which is garter sections separated by stockinette.
So are you thinking about weaving in your ends as you go, or are you going to do it all at the end?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like I'm carrying colors up the side where it makes sense, where I'm going to be using that color in the next 4 to 6 rows. Anything more than that, I'll cut it and weave in an end. But where it makes sense, I'm carrying it up. Although here I forgot for 6 rows to carry it up, so I just left a loop.
Yeah, I've done that. When I did the bounce blankets, I did that a couple times.
Yeah, I try, but I don't always remember. So now I'm about to start a section where I have 1 garter ridge in the white and 1 garter ridge in the blue. I have to have 15 sets of those, and then there's a lace section after that. So
cool.
Very easy stuff to remember. You know, once.
So how many sections are you in 5?
I just finished the 5th. I'm about to start the 6th.
Out of 12?
Out of 12.
Wow.
So I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. The total number of stitches of it, you're like a third through.
Yeah. Well, the stitch count stays the same the whole time through.
Oh.
It might change on a row, but within, like in the lace.
Oh, so you're almost halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah. It stays at 124 stitches. It's one of those offset parallelograms.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's not quite big enough to be almost halfway, though. But
when you block it, it will be.
I'm not worried about it. It'll be what it'll be. If I end up hating it, then I'll give it away. I've done it before. And then the only other thing I have to talk about, really...
What size needles are you using? 7s?
7s. The pattern calls for 6s. Always go up a size.
I'll go down to 5s, probably.
Because I knit looser. I knit tighter. Laura knits looser. So...
Shocking.
The only other thing that is on the horizon for me right now is a pattern that I've had in my queue forever. Nympholydia, which is a type of butterfly, or it's like a name for a genus of butterfly.
Oh, okay.
It is, there's only one picture.
Well, you did the Save on Ink thing.
So it's a knitty pattern, so it's free. It's from 2013. And it alternates a gradient with a solid. And it's, you know, it's very simple, like lace butterfly wing looking shawl.
Oh, you're going to use fiber optic. She put up some new colors that I'm dying over.
So I'm using fiber optic, the Morticia, which is the black. And
that's going to be gorgeous for butterfly.
Then this one is blue raspberry. This is a paint box set. This is
it's not a paint box.
Her new yarn. It's unified paint box or something.
Unified gradient.
So it's all one skein, but it's the same attention to color and
whereas
detail.
Paint boxes were little
minis.
Minis.
So you can't really see in the skein the true gradation, but
once you wind it, you can.
Yeah. But this is like a cashmere blend, so it's 80% wool, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon.
And that has more yardage than the paint box did. That's like 480 or something?
470.
Okay, and the paint boxes were like 430.
Yeah. So this I'll start at some point this week, probably just to alternate between the Goldfish Memory, to have something else to knit. Assuming that On Call is kind to me, then I will get some knitting done. And this is in my Madder Root bag that Gwen picked up for me at Maryland Cheap and All, because Laura didn't love me enough to get it.
I had left by
was
the
already
time
gone.
she was like, I want this bag, and I was like, well, I can't make Wheezy turn this car around.
It's got a cute, like it's got a buckle at the top.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and you can use it to carry your...
Oh, that's super cute.
I saw it the last time we were at Maryland, that I was at Maryland was at least a couple years ago.
Their booth is always crazy, so I try to...
It's at the, like, Upper Corral area.
Mm-hmm.
And I had looked at all the Maryland vendors and was like, yeah, the only thing that I would really like, because yarn I have enough of, I'm trying to be better about that, being more thoughtful about what I buy. So,
And then I bought stuff for her anyways.
yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like it. I got on Fleek colorway yarn, so I'm on Fleek.
I got throwing
The
shade.
kids tell me that's good, so that's all I got.
That's the word on the street.
Now it's the Laura show.
Oh, is it? That's awesome. That's my favorite kind of show. Leslie gave me an apron, so I have to keep moving it off to the side. I do have 2 finished objects. And guess what?
Oh, you didn't give them yet.
Well, okay. I'll explain. But my work bestie told me she's pregnant.
Oh, cool.
It's a big secret. Don't tell anyone else, y'all. And, like, she hasn't told anyone.
Aww.
So I'm gonna, there's gonna be lots of baby nets.
Does she know? Well, it's too soon.
No, it's way too soon. They have one daughter who's 6 now, and she was developmentally delayed, so it was a big concern if they had another kid, how she would react and stuff.
Right.
So now that she's in school and she's grown and she's matured a lot,
Good for them.
I'm super excited. It's my friend whose father had the traumatic brain injury earlier this year. So it's good for her to get some good news. Anyway, so one of my other coworkers is a first-time grandma, and I went to give this to her, and the baby had already come, and she was in Arkansas. Like, the baby came, I went to give it to her Monday, and the baby came Sunday night. So this is the Beloved bonnet. It's a Tin Can Knits pattern. It's like that. This is the second size up, but I knit it out of worsted weight. So it's actually probably close to a 1-year-old size, and I did that intentionally because we were in 90-degree weather in Mississippi, and I wanted the baby to be able to wear it, so I figured this would be fine for, like, toddler years, and toddlers still look cute in bonnets.
Yeah.
I feel like. So I made the ties a little bit longer, knowing that they're 7 inches long instead of the 6.5. You start with a tie, and then you work your way up, and as you're doing these increases, you're also short rowing, which makes this one section longer. See how it's longer than the other? So, or wider than the other.
So it makes like a cup for the back of the head.
Yeah. It almost fits me.
Oh, goodness.
It does. Look. Almost.
It does.
It's very, it goes up to adult sizes, the pattern.
Yeah. Well, most of what Tin Can Knits spans the...
So it goes from newborn all the way up to adult. So, and this is out of another Crafty Girl in the Band Leader colorway, and I love this colorway. I think it's almost like a gender neutral colorway.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's gender neutral.
So, loads of fun with this. It was a longer baby knit for me because it's a larger, I would say it used around 100 yards. I'm going to weigh it and see compared to my leftover bits. So that's the first thing that I knit. And then I needed something for imaginary points. The house cup.
And you knit this in like a night.
Yeah, I knit this in, what movie did we watch? Not Get Shorty, the sequel.
Be Cool.
Be Cool. So I knit this as we watched Be Cool. Plus, like, the bind off row. So this is a 2B pattern. I used Encore because I had this 3 skeins of Encore in this color. So every time I have, like, a baby knit. So this is going in the box. And this is the smallest, this is the newborn size. And I love this pattern. It's one of my favorite patterns. So I'll probably knit this in a gender neutral color for my friend.
What's in the box?
Anyway, so, and it grows with the kid because it's got this, like, because it's reversed garter, so it's got a lot of stretch to it. Boom. It's adorable. Favorite hat ever for kids.
Sorry, I'm thinking about The Rock with an afro.
It's a weird movie, but it was good.
I've never seen Be Cool or Get Shorty.
She's never seen Get Shorty, so I was like, we're watching Be Cool. I remember this
it was
being
so confusing.
Hilarious, and then I was like, yeah, this is not good.
Of course, we had just watched,
Laura,
what was it, Walking
The
Tall?
Rundown.
Oh, The Rundown, yeah.
Which I also really enjoy. But that one's hilarious
that
in
one
a
is
lot of
fun.
ways.
Yeah.
I also got some spinning done. So I finished...
Ooh, that's pretty.
That's my favorite.
I like the crazy colors better.
I finished... It's got a lot of sparkle in it. A bat from Joanna Springs. This is a true woolen. It's a 2-ply. It was breaking as I was playing all the time because it's so the woolen spun singles are so fragile. But I learned a trick from Judith on how to rejoin singles. So that worked really, really well.
So now you have to tell them.
Oh, okay. So when you're playing a 2-ply, and you have basically a V, and then this single might break, and this one just continues on. What you do is you add a lot of extra twist to your ply and kind of peel this apart a little bit and tuck that new end right in, and then hold it together and let the twist will just suck it right in. So that worked out well. So this is a true woolen, and it is, what did I say, like 280 yards?
I wasn't listening.
And then the worsted spun is the Cordel that was last month's Patreon prize. It's a fractal spun. It is from Yarn Geek in the 1st of May colorway, and it's 230 yards.
It's really pretty. And so this is for the Patreon winner that we drew last week.
Yes, I need to add a tag to it. If you have a tag here, I might just steal one.
I do. And
write it out. But yeah, and then you can just have it to mail. So, yeah, I'm very happy with both those items. Oh, no, I need to photograph them first.
Okay.
Because House Cup on measuring points.
I can pick it up from you tomorrow for drag race.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm home at noon tomorrow. So if you want to come over early, you can.
Depends on if everybody gets out of work early.
Yeah. Yeah, your on-call thing. So those are the 2 things that I spun. Oh, finished objects. So this is not an object that I knit. But we have a person who knits sweaters for us occasionally.
She takes a sweater lot for herself in payment and then knits a sweater for one of us that we provide her yarn for as well.
So I believe this was Plucky.
And it was like Fancy Cardi by Hohi.
Yeah, the Fancy Cardi by Hohi.
I was so excited because it came in a box that was sent to my house, and I was like, I got a new Gwen sweater!
It smells good.
And then I opened it, and I was like, oh, that's not mine.
I want to know what she washed that in.
It does smell good.
So she did have to shorten the sleeves, because we ran out of yarn, because I'm super tall.
You are super tall.
Yeah, those sleeves are pretty perfect. So I'll pull them up.
It's over a t-shirt, so the
yeah,
top
it's
part
bunching. It's over an oversized t-shirt too. So, whew.
She's got a pit bull at her feet. She's trying not to trip and die.
Yeah, so it's got this like wide openness that I love about my Hannah Thetic sweater. I'm glad I had her add length. So she added a little bit of length, which on me, you can't see my hip, but it's like right at the hip almost. Which if she hadn't added length, it would be way too short.
It looks good.
Cute. I'll shawl pin it. The collar is something that I will have to mess with. Boom. Y'all can't see.
It is different from most like flutter front cardies. They don't quite have the collar.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
It's fancy for my fanciness. It also has puppy hair on it. Yeah, I think this was the Plucky cashmere. She had to rip out a lot on the sleeves to get these to go. Because these were full-length sleeves. So, but she did add length to the bottom. Apparently, I am now 5 figuring weight skein
because you're so tall.
Yeah, well, there's that. And it's got this vine lace detail that's on the front.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, I like it.
I like the color you chose for it, too.
Yeah, it's not gray. Hey, both sweaters I've had Gwen knit for me have been in navy.
I've had her knit 2 sweaters for me in like this orangey color, like a coppery.
Oh, yeah, that's a good color.
I didn't realize it until she sent me the second one. I was like, didn't you just knit me like a rust-colored sweater?
So you're up next for a sweater.
Yeah, she's gonna knit me the Crazy Lines one.
Oh, that's a good one.
By Atelier, what's her face? It's not Crazy Lines. I forget what it's called.
Boom.
Yeah, it's very impactful.
Anyway. Love it. So I'll wear this with not a t-shirt. Not a oversized t-shirt on underneath.
Yeah, it's just bunching because it's already got layers under it.
Yeah. I'll wear something that's more fitted. And that's it for me. I'm like the laziest reader ever this past month and a half. I have 2 hours left on Mark of Athena, and I thought about listening to it at work, but we've been blowing through data on our Leslie and I show. Okay, that's because Audible, even though I downloaded the book, was streaming it. And I just figured it out, because I looked at where the data was going, and all my apps were auto-refreshing in the background on the new phone. So that will change.
Yeah, I meant to talk to you about that because we keep getting these, like, you've reached 75% of your data.
Yeah, and we have like 2 weeks left on the...
And most of the time, she and I are either at my house or her house where we're connected to the Wi-Fi.
Except when I'm at work, I'm not connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But you don't have time to spend on your phone.
So my... I looked at it and I fiddled with settings last night. Eloise and I did it together.
Oh, cool.
We fiddled with both of our settings on our phone. Also, my phone, you can set up your phone so that it uses Wi-Fi to make calls if you're connected to Wi-Fi, and that'll save, too.
Oh, cool. I never make phone calls, so...
I know. I do a lot, so...
Man, I had something interesting to say, and now I forgot what it was.
So anyway, I'm still listening to Mark of Athena, but we have a book to review. Do you want to talk about what books you're reading, and then we'll review the book?
Sure. It's pretty quick. I haven't had time to read a whole lot. So... I started on the second in a series called Game of Lies, which is about, like, it's weird because it's set in space, but the whole premise is that all humanoid life forms were seeded by the Fae on all these different planets. And the Fae spaceships are actually living creatures. Like, they don't deal with tech well, so the way to, like, you know...
defeat them?
Right, is tech. So it's interesting.
I have a gift for you in my car.
Okay.
I just discarded that. I have Starfleet Academy books from the 90s in my library.
Michael will love that.
And it's like, I only had like one.
Yeah.
And it's like YA, not even middle grade next gen, starring Geordie LaForge.
Yeah, LeVar Burton.
Yeah.
Sweet. Michael will like that.
I grabbed it when I discarded it. I usually let everyone else have the books that I discard.
Yeah, the audience for that at your school is probably pretty low.
Yeah. Well, Next Gen was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Longer, yeah.
Anyway, continue with what you're reading. That just made me think of
the only thing I read this week was last week or the week before, when I was talking about an Alana Andrews book, Laura sort of blew my mind by revealing that in the Innkeeper series, in one of the books, there was an arbitrator who's like a peacekeeper, sort of, between all the different races of aliens.
Yeah, he's an arbitrator.
Yeah. Was actually George, who is Rose's brother from the very first Edge book.
Yeah, and he appears in all the Edge books.
Yeah, I guess he does, doesn't he?
Yep. The last one's just specifically about him.
Yeah.
And his brother.
Jack, yeah. So, I was like, shut up! I didn't remember that, right? Because I read The Innkeeper before I read The Edge. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to go back and read that, because I love that series anyway. And it's one I prefer to read than listen to, because I don't like the Renee Rodman Southern accent. I can't get into it. So I reread it, and yeah, there's George.
What? Yeah,
and there's Jack.
You're acting like I didn't tell you
adults,
the truth. Yeah.
And like,
and I have a feeling they're going to reappear.
And Gaston, who is the
cousin. Yeah,
the cousin. He's like a water something. I forget what shifter, whatever he is, but yeah, and they have him as adults, and like he comes in as an arbitrator on the night that he kills Spider, who's like the bad guy for all the Edge books. It's so cool to see him as an adult, and Jack as an adult. Like, I don't know. So now I'm reading.
This is old news.
I'm so excited.
I remember this.
I don't care. I'm excited.
I like the Edge books, though.
They're not my favorite. The Innkeeper, I think, will always be my favorite.
No, I mean, I like Innkeeper.
I like Kate and Curran.
Yeah, there's some other ones that I like. I like the one that takes Wildfire in that. And they're continuing that series.
I like that one too. Yeah, that's true. God, I just love their books. They need to...
I also like, have you read their short stories where it's on the other planet where they raise dahlias?
I haven't read any of
Okay,
their
those
short
are
stories.
actually probably my favorites. You should read those. If you like Innkeeper, you'll like those.
So anyway, that's what I've been reading.
Awesome.
I started the third Innkeeper again because I was like,
So we have a book to review. This was sent to us to review from our friends Denise Bell and Chris. They run Lost City Knits, and they are wonderful people. And we've reviewed their books in the past, and this book reminds me of their past collections in that they were in, was it Shetland before? And they interview local people, and Chris writes the essay, and then Denise writes patterns
Ultima Thule was the last one?
Based on the culture that they surround themselves with. And this one takes place in Kansas.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it's called Deep Roots, and it retails for $27. And for that $27, you also get a digital copy. It has, 5 patterns?
Yeah.
6 patterns, and they differ in a lot of ways. When I think of Denise, I think of lace and intricate lace, and there are patterns like that in here, intermixed with Chris's fabulous interviews and essays. But one of my favorites is actually the first one, which is the blue stem scarf, because it kind of reminds me, and I love, I'm going to show you my favorite photograph of it. You can kind of see how they're laid out.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of a fade, but not quite as complicated, and it uses lace weight, and it would be great stash busting for some solids of lace weight like Malabrigo or even the Lost City Knits that, you know, you run into them and you're like, oh, I'm just going to buy one thing. I don't have a project in mind. And this would be perfect for that. I love how they've done color families, and I love how they have these laid out, and that's the cover piece as well.
Yeah, I like the way that it's knit. It can sit on your shoulders. A lot of times, like the scarves and shawls, it can be hard to find a way to make it look, you know, cute on you, but
and all these patterns are mostly charted patterns with written directions as well, maybe.
I like Chris's I feel like his essays in this book are more bite-sized than in Ultima Thule. They're easier to dip into. Like, I feel like you can start anywhere on any of the essays.
I love the photographs,
I do too. I love this older man, you know, in his workshop with his cowboy hat, and how he hasn't ridden in years, but he still makes spurs. He just finished his, like, 72nd pair of spurs or something.
It's really like an oral history collection.
Yeah, they just sort of wandered around this area of Kansas and found great spots to take photographs and just chat with people and learn the history.
And Chris's father had roots in this area as well. There's also the switchgrass scarf, which is also a lace weight. I misspoke. When the patterns are charted, they're just charted directions, not written as well. So that's something to keep in mind.
So switchgrass has a lot of different applications. It's pretty important to the economy there. They use it in the production of biofuel and in ornamental gardens, and the cattle eat it. So.
And this is one of my favorite photo spreads, is that architecture taken at different times.
I love they have a whole bit about the school. And the school was Fox Creek, and it offered an 8th grade education. The 8th grade was considered their final exam, and it's got a list of, like, the questions that you had to pass. And there are a lot of questions on here I could not answer.
Tell what you can of the history of Kansas.
Well, most of it's not related to Kansas. It's like,
what is climate? Upon what does climate depend?
In orthography, give 4 substitutes for correct, C-A-R-E-T, and then U is in single quote. I don't even know what that means.
What is punctuation? Give rules for principal marks of punctuation.
Describe 3 of the most prominent battles of the rebellion. What rebellion?
The Civil War.
That's not the rebellion!
I would assume Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the Revolutionary War.
But there are a lot that are definitely, like, farm-driven. A wagon box is 2 foot deep, 10 foot long, and 3 foot wide. How many bushels of wheat will it hold? I don't know what's a bushel of wheat. Like, these are things that, you know, a person that worked in the farming industry would just know.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
moving on.
A little bit of a rant, but it's really interesting.
So there's a really cool little Fair Isle blanket called Fox Creek Picnic Blanket. What I love is that it's got an army of ants on the outside. So there's this detail, and those black things on the outside, those are ants. It's super cool.
And it's knit in a round and steeked.
Yep.
And
it's cute.
I love her, like, no-nonsense approach to describing it. She says, let's see. The picnic blanket is worked in the round and steeked. Steeking is a term used to indicate that you cut the fabric of the project so it can be finished flat. It's not hard and shouldn't cause concern to the knitter. Like, she just immediately says, chill out. It's no big deal.
Yeah. The charts are vines and leaves, coreopsis, butterfly, prairie hare, and then the army of ants. So they all kind of flow really nicely. The coreopsis and the butterflies use multiple colors.
And they talk about at the Chris, the husband, does photography, and he does it very well. And he talks about how he was taking this long-term shot, or this long exposure shot, at the schoolhouse. And in the span of the time it took him to take this long exposure shot, he had 3 different people saw his lights and stuff set up and drove off the road so they could check on him to make sure everything was okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's indicative of the culture.
And there's a skirt pattern, and then there's the preserve shawl, which I really, really like too, and that uses Buffalo Wool Company Earth Lace yarn because it talks a lot about buffalo in here as well. So it's a really, really pretty pattern as well. Denise is known, I feel like, for her gorgeous, intricate lace.
Yeah, I feel like she is.
And I feel like that displays it to the best of its ability. So that's 1,000 yards, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. They also talk about the butterflies in the area, some more interviews. Oh, and there's I forgot, the butterfly poncho.
The poncho, yeah.
This reminds me of Eloise. So there's a poncho, and it's solid, but it's got a texture butterfly stitch pattern on it as well. In the very back, there's the schematic sketches, which are all hand-drawn and really, really pretty. There's also, I don't want to show this to you because it's on the instruction page, but throughout the book, there's some illustrations that Denise has done as well, which are really, really pretty.
Yeah, just a little butterfly or a little
flower. And then
flower.
there's Chris and Denise.
Yeah.
Who we adore. So we definitely have a bias for this book. We have a copy, this is actually y'all's, because mine's at my house, to give away of this book. And so the prompt is, I knew I was no longer in Kansas when.
Yeah.
Which is such a cute prompt for a book based on Kansas.
Yeah, I realized I wasn't in Kansas anymore when, and then you fill in the blank. Yeah.
So create a story.
Yeah.
And we'll have that to give away in our Ravelry group.
Yeah.
And we'll pull for that next week. Next week. So Leslie and I are taking a trip. We are going on vacation. We are going to my parents' house on vacation. And they live in Knoxville. We're going to go to the Knoxville Spinning Guilds.
On Saturday the 2nd of June.
Which will be super duper fun. I think I'm going to see if Carrie can go. Our friend Carrie is a member of that guild as well. So we'll be hanging out in Knoxville. But because we'll be hanging out in Knoxville over the course of the weekend, the
podcast
episode
will be late next
might
week.
Be late. It's late this week, too, because I had a migraine from some things that happened at work.
It's like everything happened. Monday, I actually had to take a sick day because I had such a like monstrous headache all night, Sunday night and Monday morning. And then Tuesday, Laura had been dealing with some really stressful stuff at school. And
so my stress headache became a migraine, which is super fun.
Wednesday night is knit night, so we can't record on Wednesdays. And we were this close to canceling today because it's been storming.
And
Laura's dog
we
and
think
my
we
dog
might lose power. Yeah, and they are both chickens who freak out.
They're not great with storms.
But I give Pearl some calming treats and then left. Yeah. So, like a good parent.
It's not been crazy. It might be raining,
bad.
but it's not. It was thundering crazy earlier.
It was raining so hard earlier. It's like when you mistake rain for hail, like the big drops. That's when I was leaving work.
Yeah.
That's when Pearl was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to be on your lap for forever.
This is where I live now.
Enjoy."
Hope you can breathe.
And then Humberto's like, "But wait, there's more."
So we do still wanted to talk a little bit about the Fiber Seed, the charity yarn drive thing that we're doing. The yarn when it's still in the skein looks like this. I'm going to do a hat, the depth hat, and Laura's doing the depth cowl. And the patterns are by Talitha Cuomo. And I hope I'm
we
saying
did an
that right.
Instagram takeover this week, too.
We did, yeah. It was fun looking through all our old pictures and stuff and findings, making collages and stuff to hand over for them to post for us. But yeah, if you're interested in joining us, our charity is Pet Smart Charities, and so it distributes to shelters. It helps support animals that Petco is helping to adopt out. But basically, it's an adopt, don't shop sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can...
They provide spaying and neutering services for shelters.
The colorway you can buy at thefiberseed.com. I've got everything linked on our show notes, and I'll link it on the Ravelry episode thread.
Yeah, we had raised over 200, so that's awesome.
So like 20% of the proceeds from the yarn go to our charity of choice, which is the PetSmart one. Also, the Itty Bitty... Is that right?
Itty Bitty Knit?
Itty Bitty...
No, that's not right.
Something Delights. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible human being.
I just ordered some cute stitch markers from her. She does like the clay stitch markers. She had a Cadbury egg one, and it had to become...
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
okay.
That's who I got that from. It had to become mine because, hello, Cadbury eggs.
So, Knitmore Girls are also participating.
Yeah, they've got a cool pink colorway.
Little Bitty Delights, not Itty
There we
Bitty.
go.
I'm sorry, I was close. That was not any sort of slight. I just have a terrible memory. But anyway, you can purchase the yarn on the Fiber Seeds site. I'll put the link in the show notes and the episode thread. And I'm excited to try straining pooling again. I hope it works. Maybe I'll cast that on for the drive.
Not stranded pooling, intentional pooling.
Intentional pooling. Sorry, you're right.
I don't know what stranding you would be doing, but...
I don't either. I just... Words just come. I just let them loose.
I'm actually thinking back because I was knitting and I must have started knitting tighter because all of a sudden it was like, hey, you are totally not pooling anymore.
Started thinking about her dog at home, stressed out. The only other thing I can think of is Stash Dash starts tomorrow.
It does. I'll have the finish line threads up fairly early. I have a coworker coming over tomorrow to work with me from a different school. She's looking to pull books, and she was looking for some specific, like 40 books, and I happen to have all of them in my library.
Cool.
Yeah, so, or the majority of the ones that she was looking for, and she wanted to see if they were appropriate from 3rd to 5th grade, and because she's in an elementary school, and some of them are, and some of them aren't, and I've read a good bit of them, so we're going to discuss.
Are you okay? You're sitting weird.
No, I am sitting weird. My back and
okay.
My foot fell asleep because I was trying not to move it with Buffy.
She gave up on us. She's over by the door now.
Yeah, she's like, I've moved on, peoples. Anyway.
I think that's it.
Yeah. We will see you all next week, just a little bit late. I hope you enjoy Stash Dash. Remember, it's only a competition against yourself.
Yep.
Or if you're me, it's a competition against Leslie and Jessica. And myself.
It's not really a competition against me, because I might be ahead in the beginning, but she will blow past me in no time.
Yeah, you're gonna have that, whatchamacallit?
The fade.
Yeah, the fade will help you out immensely.
Yeah.
I have that vest on the needles that needs like 6 more repeats.
Oh, the lace one, yeah.
Yeah, 1 repeat done.
But it's a bulky, so.
Should go pretty fast. Awesome, I totally fixed this. Okay, we will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.